What's up, you guys? I'm Dan. This is Frugal Not Cheap. Today we'll take a look at some cool little details in the 2017 Tesla Model S. Alright, so the first little detail to talk about here is the lighting. And in particular is just how much convenience lighting there is on the 2017 Tesla Model S. So you can see here we have nice lights and the door handles so that we can see what's going on there at night, and that is the case for all four of the door handles, of course. Then as we open the door, you also, of course, have this handy light in case there's like a bicyclist or a car that's coming. They'll be able to see that you have your door open. And then, of course, for us, on top of that, you also do have convenient puddle lighting as well, so that you can see where you're stepping. So that's a nice little feature as well. Now let's get inside the vehicle. Entering into the vehicle, I do have this set to automatically turn on what Tesla calls the dome lights. But of course there is no dome because all we have is a bunch of glass up top, which is really, really cool. But we do have four of these little map or reading lights, and they're really quite useful. They are pointed towards each of the individual seats. So of course this is the driver's side, passenger here in the front, and then we have two more in the rear. That can be useful, in case a passenger is going to read or something like that. When you set off to drive, the dome lights turn off automatically. But what you get next is another pretty cool feature, and that is a little bit of ambient lighting. And this is on all four of the doors. So we have it back there on the rear doors as well. You can see what those lights look like up close. And then another convenience feature is that we have footwell lighting when I'm parked. There's some nice lighting down there so I can see the pedals and see what's going on at my feet. And then the next little detail that you might not see in a lot of car reviews is going to be the glove box. So we do have a light here in the glove box, and the glove box is lined with felt. So that leads me to my next point about the little details in the 2017 Model S, and that is going to be the materials. So, while build quality is, not as good in these older cars as it is in the more modern cars, in some ways the materials are pretty cool. They're kind of that old school luxury rather than, the more modern type of stuff. And so to get a better eye on those, I'm actually going to go outside where there's a little bit more light. Okay, we're outside now so we can see the materials a little bit better. So the thing about the 2017 Tesla Model S is that a lot of the materials are kind of what you think about as sort of your classic luxury car type materials, whereas the newer cars are kind of a lot more modern, and they don't have a lot of these touches. So what we have here, of course, is some wood all over the dash, and then down here on the cup holder area as well. And then all of this, what looks like metal trim, is generally actually metal. So this is all metal all around the screen. Even the air vents trim is also metal as well. There are some bits and bobs that are plastic, like this one because of the airbags, and then the the little trim here, like where you touch the actual air vent adjuster or whatever. Anyway, but then this part on the steering wheel is also metal. And then looking at the door panel as well, this entire area over here is metal, and then also the door pull as well. So that's nice. And then of course you probably noticed we've got kind of the black and tan leather deal going on. The 2017 year was the last year that Tesla actually made leather in their cars. Everything now is vinyl material. But we do have leather seats here. We also have leather here on the armrest. And then, these panels, I'm not sure if they're vinyl or they're leather, but they seem to be kind of a similar material. But definitely these two are nice, relatively soft leather. Not as plush as some that I felt, but still pretty good. And then some of the more modern materials that you'll see is here the microfiber suede or Alcantara. So we have a black microfiber over here, and then that sort of vinyl or leather material kind of over here. The steering wheel, by the way, is definitely leather. And then that microfiber suede also carries over to the headliner. And again, with that black and tan thing, we have the black microfiber suede there. And then we have the tan Alcantara up here for kind of the headliner. And I say kind of because, of course, again, mostly glass, but it is nice to have this microfiber suede all the way around. Nice soft touch area all over there, and that includes over there where your hand might touch when you're going to grab your seat belt. So altogether, great materials here. So if we call the lighting kind of, detail number 1, and then the glove box detail number 2, then the overall materials here would be kind of detail number 3. And then detail number 4, I think, is going to be the cup holders. So this situation is kind of fun. So the first cup holders that we have are kind of the big ones, and this is kind of the fun one you might not see all that often, is that actually you have this huge storage area here, but they do have these removable inserts here that can be used to create cup holders. So like I've got this one made quite large that could fit like a big gulp or whatever, and then this one to more of a standard size as well. But you can reposition these however you like to kind of create different storage scenarios here in the center console. Then the other cup holders that you have are here in the armrest. So you just pull these guys back and you have 2 cup holders. And again, we have the wood and we have the metal and we have the leather. Now I'll have to jump into the back to show you the third set of cup holders. Okay, here we are in the back, and here's set of cup holders number 3, I guess. And so they're just hidden down here. You just push that and then they pop out. And another detail, by the way, speaking of lighting, is that these USB-A ports are lit, so you're able to find them in the dark if you're sitting back here as a passenger. And again, we have a little bit more of that nice wood here, and then this leather type material over here. Though I think these are probably more like a vinyl. Again, these kind of harder ones I don't think are real leather, whereas the seats and the armrest are. And then that carries over to here. Also, this is leather as well. Now, detail number 5 is kind of more of a negative one. And that is that while we have tons of great storage there in the center console, we just don't have much storage at all other than that in these older Model S's. In fact, there's no map pocket storage here in the back of the seat. And then there's no door storage anywhere either. So we have that cool ambient lighting that you just saw turn off, but we don't have any kind of storage there. We just have some pretty decent speakers there, and then the cool design. I guess you could put something in there in what's really basically the door handle, but there is a little bit of storage there. But I wouldn't really call that a great storage solution at all. So I guess that's detail number 5, is the lack of interior storage options beside the center console. So let's take a look at number 6. Which is the trunk storage, which is ample. So the trunk storage, as we all know in Teslas, is really good. And then of course we have the front trunk as well. But this is kind of like a very, very common detail, really nothing important. What I wanted to show was basically the under trunk storage, which is really big. And then also that's connected over to these little side storage pockets. So let's get that cover out of the way. And then we have a really huge storage capacity here. This is where I normally put my groceries so they don't slide around at all. But the interesting detail here is that actually this is connected to these side storages. So if we come down here, you can see it's not a huge opening, but it does connect over there. So I just thought that was an interesting detail. Oh, and while we're back here, continuing on with the theme of all the lighting stuff, there is of course lighting here in the trunk, both on that side and on the other side as well. And then of course you have lighting on the tailgate itself, on the lift gate, so we'll be able to see things there. Okay, this next detail I'm pretty sure you probably won't have seen in any review anywhere. And that is this kind of seatbelt catch thing that happens. So right now you can see this rear seatbelt here is just loose, right? I mean, easy to grab, fairly easy to grab and everything. But if you ever actually, fold the seat down, which is pretty great. This is how you get all that huge space with this wonderful hatchback. But then if you lift the seat back up, then what happens is you can see as the seat belt gets caught in between sort of the back of the seat and the side bolster as well. And so it's kind of held nicely in place in case you're trying to find it. So I don't know, just kind of a fun little detail that happens anytime that you put the seats down and drop them back up. Seat belt gets firmly put right there in what looks to be like, the perfect spot for it in a way. All right, so the final detail, I wanted to end on kind of a fun one here. And this is kind of emblematic of just the kind of sense of humor that Tesla has. And this is a little voice command. This is going to apply to all Teslas, not just the 2017 Model S, but it's still a fun one. So you hit the voice command thing, open butthole. And that opens the charge port. And of course that charge port is going to be nicely lit, continuing with our theme about all the crazy lighting on the Model S. So there you have it, some details that I think are fun or neat about the 2017 Tesla Model S. Are there any that I missed? Let us know in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.